Okay, I see Africa. Let's see. Turn it a little bit. Okay. Oh, I see South America. Look up. There's Central America. And hey, there's North America. That's where we live. Oh, hi, everybody. I was just looking at the world, at this great, glorious world with all these countries in it. This great, glorious world that God created. I was trying to imagine what it might be like to be God looking down at this big, beautiful world that He created. Well, don't get me wrong, I wasn't for a minute comparing myself to God. He's perfect, and I'm nowhere near. And I was really just pretending and using my imagination. I like to do that. Well, we talk about God's wonderful kingdom, and it reminds me that today we're continuing our discussion about the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father prayer. And we're at the point today, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Wow, that's a big mouthful, isn't it? And what exactly does that mean? Well, does that mean that God is looking at us and peering down to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to? Well, God probably doesn't need a light like this, and I doubt He needs a magnifying glass. He sees everything anyway, right? Well, what's the idea then of Thy will be done, Thy kingdom come? Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Well, what do we know about heaven? Maybe not a whole lot because none of us have been there. But we hear from scholars and others who study the Bible that heaven is pretty perfect. I mean, first of all, you're there with God, so it's got to be pretty amazing. And also, there's no suffering, there's no hurting in heaven. People are healed and life is happy, I think. Well, if God's will is supposed to be done on earth the same as in heaven, then shouldn't things be pretty good here on earth? And I wonder if we have a role to play in that. Well, let's think about it. You remember a few weeks ago when we were talking about the story of creation? Remember, God created this big, beautiful world and everything in it. And one of the things He did was He gave us the responsibility to look after the world. I wonder how we're doing. We probably could do better, but remember we talked about little ways that we could help look after God's kingdom. Like that's why we recycle and make sure we have clean water and we plant trees and we do our part. Little things that we can do to make the earth better and healthier and cleaner for everybody. Well, what about looking after each other? God gave the 10 Commandments to Moses, and he told us how we should be living. But then, when he gave us the gift of Jesus, what did Jesus say was the most important commandment? That's right, love each other as ourselves. So we need to do a good job about looking after each other. Some of you who are going to school might have worn a purple shirt to school this week. It was Purple Shirt Day on Wednesday, and that was a day that came up really an idea of the Children's Aid Society, and they wanted to shine a light on the fact that not all kids are as lucky as you are or as lucky as we all are. Some kids don't have enough food, right? And some kids don't have a safe place to sleep at night. And some kids don't even have a nice family to welcome them and make them feel loved every day. That's pretty sad. But we can help, right? We can't fix all the problems, but we can do little things. We can befriend those people. We can try to help where we can. Remember, we've talked before, quoting Mother Teresa, who said, we just have to do small things with a whole lot of love, and just one person can make a difference. That means you doing one thing to look after God's world or somebody in God's world can make a huge difference. It'll make a difference to that person, and you can bet it'll make a difference to God because God is watching, and He'll see how pure your heart is and how much you really want to help other people. And I think maybe if we make that our goal, helping other people, we'll start to make God's kingdom here on earth maybe a little bit as wonderful as it is in heaven. And until we get to heaven with God, we can enjoy our time down here on earth, knowing we're doing our part to make it better and making God proud in the meantime. You sure do make me proud with your attitude of gratitude and all the other things, all the wonderful things you do for yourselves and for each other every day. It's awesome. Will you pray the Lord's Prayer with me today before we go? All right, let's close our eyes, bow your head, and fold your hands if you want to. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Let us not fall into temptation. Deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen, my friends. Have a great week. See you next time. Bye-bye.